Man, this picture doesn't spell good news for the WNBA. I'm just gonna blow this up here. This does not look good. This does not look good. You can see empty seats all over the place. All over the place. The upper deck is completely. You see these seats up here completely empty. Completely empty up here. Barely any people up here. I mean, it's empty seats all over the place, man.
This is the exact moment the Women's National Basketball Association officially died. What you are witnessing right now is not merely a temporary dip in viewership. It is not simply a bad weekend of ticket sales. This is a full-scale, unmitigated financial apocalypse, and the entire league is collapsing right before our very eyes in real time. We are talking about empty, multi-million-dollar arenas, completely panicked billionaires, and a league that is literally hours away from announcing total financial ruin. The front office is in a state of absolute sheer terror because the fans have finally executed the single most destructive, catastrophic boycott in the history of professional sports. The fans have drawn a massive line in the sand, they have closed their wallets, and they are hitting the WNBA with a financial nuclear bomb. And the worst part for the league? They brought every single ounce of this destruction upon themselves. For months on end, the loyal fans of this game have been forced to sit back and watch the most blatant, disgusting, and toxic campaign of disrespect we have ever seen. They watched as Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White allowed her massive ego and deep-seated jealousy to completely poison her locker room. They watched Coach White actively try to sabotage Caitlin Clark's career, burying her in the media, calling terrible plays, and deliberately attempting to dim the blinding light of the greatest generational talent the sport of basketball has ever seen. But it did not stop there. The toxic veteran guard of the WNBA also targeted Sophie Cunningham, disrespecting her hustle, freezing her out, and treating her as if she did not belong. The fans screamed for the front office to step in. They begged WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert to do her job, protect the players who are actually bringing in the revenue, and stop the petty jealousy of coaches like Stephanie White. But the executives did absolutely nothing. They sat in their luxury suites, sipping champagne, arrogant enough to believe that they held all the power. They assumed the fans were stupid. They assumed you would just keep buying their overpriced tickets, keep buying their jerseys, and remain quiet while they ruined the only stars you actually cared about. They made the most expensive miscalculation in the history of modern sports, and today, they're paying the ultimate price.
To hold 12,000 people. Now, of course, the anonymous faces, they rarely see 12,000 people in the arena. The only time this arena sees a capacity crowd is when anyone other than the anonymous faces are using it. As it turns out, the game last night, it was moved from the local Boys and Girls Club to the T-Mobile Arena, the same arena that is often used by the UFC. Obviously, the WNBA moved the game expecting increased demand for tickets. They assumed that Caitlin Clark fans would travel across the country to see their hero dominate the unrecognizable names and anonymous faces in Las Vegas. According to the WNBA, that is exactly what happened. According to the League of Make-Believe, this game last night was almost sold out, which leads me to reason of confusion number 2. Clearly, this game...
An unprecedented, unbreakable alliance has officially formed. Millions of incredibly loyal, fiercely protective Caitlin Clark fans have now joined forces with Sophie Cunningham's massive, dedicated fan base. Together, these two powerful fan armies have launched a coordinated, full-scale, league-wide boycott, and the results are absolutely devastating. According to shocking reports allegedly coming from inside the arenas tonight, league attendance has completely fallen off a cliff. We are not talking about a 10% decline. We are not even talking about a 50% drop. We are witnessing a catastrophic, mind-blowing 95% collapse in total fan attendance across the entire league. You heard that correctly. 95% of the fans have vanished, leaving only 5% of the normal fan base actually walking through those arena doors. The visuals coming out of these games are absolutely haunting. These massive, state-of-the-art stadiums, capable of holding 20,000 people, are now looking like abandoned ghost towns. The lower bowls, which were once packed with screaming fans wearing number 22 jerseys, are completely empty. Row after row of thousands of vacant red and blue plastic seats stretches across the arenas. The VIP courtside sections, where celebrities once paid thousands of dollars for premium seats, are completely deserted. The arenas are so quiet that you could practically hear a pin drop. Barren, silent, lifeless. The concession stands are reportedly throwing away thousands of dollars worth of uneaten food, while security guards simply stand around with absolutely no one to watch. The financial condition of the WNBA is now being portrayed as being in a state of total, utter ruin.
This is a bad look. Now, she did show up. You've seen her reunite with Kate Martin. This was good to see. I wish the Indiana Fever would have picked up Kate Martin, but they didn't. Surprise, surprise to who? Caitlyn also did some meeting with the people. She's not gonna let the people down. But even in these videos right here, take a look at this. You're gonna see her signing. Look how empty the arena is behind her. Look at how empty the arena is behind her. All of this stuff is empty. Nobody's coming out no more.
Thank you, Caitlyn. You got your favorite nerve song? Doors? American Cars?
Yeah, man, it might be cooked for the Fever, bro. It might be cooked for the Fever. It might be cooked. Look at all these empty seats, man. Now, granted, this before the game, but geez, you seen how it was in the previous slide I showed you. This is wild, man. Way to run off a fan base. Way to ruin the golden goose. Congratulations, idiots. Congratulations. Speaking of idiots, we got to get to what Nate Tibbetts had to say. Nate Tibbetts addressed the flagrant foul situation with Alyssa Thomas. Let's see what he had to say. Nonsense.
I'd like to address the AT situation. First off, the Mercury organization would like to.
Without Caitlin Clark's dedicated fans buying up tickets, even at heavily inflated prices, the dark and ugly reality of the league's financial situation is now being brutally exposed to the world. Millions upon millions of dollars in ticket revenue have reportedly disappeared almost overnight. The merchandise stores inside the arenas are allegedly reporting zero sales, zero television ratings, which were breaking all-time network records just weeks ago, have supposedly plummeted so rapidly that broadcasting networks are now holding emergency meetings. The WNBA was finally profitable for the very first time in its long, struggling existence, and the narrative being pushed is that it happened entirely because of Caitlin Clark. Now, because the league allegedly refused to protect her from Stephanie White's petty jealousy and vicious sabotage, every penny of those profits has supposedly evaporated into thin air. The message being sent by the fans is brutal, ruthless, and uncompromising. If you do not respect Caitlin Clark, and if you do not respect Sophie Cunningham, then you do not get a single dime of our hard-earned money. Period. Inside executive offices across the league, there is reportedly an atmosphere of absolute, uncontrolled chaos. Billionaire ownership groups are allegedly staring at daily financial spreadsheets that look like something out of a horror movie. They are reportedly bleeding money at an unprecedented and uncontrollable rate. But the real panic is supposedly coming from the corporate sponsors. Massive Fortune 500 companies that signed multi-million-dollar television and arena deals expecting sold-out crowds are now allegedly furious, calling the league office for answers. Executives from companies such as Nike, State Farm, and Gatorade are reportedly demanding to know why their expensive advertisements are being displayed in front of thousands of empty seats amid what is being portrayed as a massive PR disaster. Stephanie White's alleged ego and jealousy are being blamed for putting the entire operation in jeopardy. She thought she was the boss. She thought fans were showing up to watch her outdated defensive schemes and brilliant play calling. But according to this narrative, she completely forgot one crucial thing. Without Caitlin Clark, nobody cares about Stephanie White, and now, Her alleged refusal to fully embrace her superstar has placed the entire existence of the league in severe financial jeopardy.
Last night was in the top 3 hardest games to watch of the season. It was brutal. God dog, last night was boring. In fact, I said last night during the watch party that only the WNBA could have a battle between what's supposed to be 2 of their top 5 biggest stars, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark. Only in the W could the WNBA figure out how to take a game like that, make it close for most of the game, and it be boring as hell. That's some W shit. That happens a lot in this league. A lot in this league. Vanderbilt fever. Caitlin White literally got tackled. Stephanie White just sits there with her arms crossed, sniffing and twitching. Congratulations, Stephanie Weatherspoon. Oh, damn. Shout out Teresa Weatherspoon. Whoa. Lethargic performance. That's on the coach. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Stephanie White, rhythm-killing circle the wagons offense. God. Just make one more pass. I dare you. Make one more pass. You all need a new coach, just saying. You simply can't just drive to the hoop every offensive play and let a 7-foot-tall, pink-haired lady block all the shots. You know, there really wasn't a lot of adjustment to that, was it?
The pressure on WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has now reached a boiling point that appears completely unsustainable. The league simply cannot survive another week of what is being described as a 95% attendance boycott. The numbers do not add up. The operating costs required to run massive arenas and pay player salaries without sufficient incoming ticket or television revenue could place enormous financial pressure on franchise owners. The fans have the WNBA backed into a corner, and they have delivered a brutal final ultimatum to the front office: fire Stephanie White immediately, terminate her contract, put an end to the alleged toxic locker room sabotage involving Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, and completely clean house of anyone accused of supporting this veteran jealousy. If the league refuses to meet these demands, supporters are warning that the boycott could become permanent. The fans may never return, the arenas could remain empty, and the league could face an unprecedented financial crisis. Caitlin Clark appears to hold enormous influence right now, and she does not even have to say a single word. She does not need to complain to the media or post anything on social media. Her supporters are fighting this battle on her behalf, and they are allegedly putting tremendous pressure on the league's bottom line. The clock is rapidly ticking. Sponsors are reportedly threatening to reconsider their funding, while the WNBA could be approaching a critical financial moment. Someone may be forced to lose their job, and according to the growing speculation, everyone already knows exactly who the pressure is pointing toward.
Is the difference between this season and last season. It's also the major problem the WNBA is facing and severely mishandling. There is a war going on right now in the WNBA dump. I can't call it a civil war. A civil war would imply that WNBA fans are at war with the league. This is more like a revolutionary war. Caitlin Clark fans are boycotting the Indiana Felines. This team is struggling to sell tickets at home. What in the hell makes the WNBA think they are going to travel across the country to support the team? This is one of the many problems you deal with when your on-court product is not the draw. I know I keep repeating myself. I know I keep repeating this point, but when your product is substandard, when your product is less entertaining than watching grown men stuff wieners in their mouth on July 4th, and you have one player driving interest, you have one fan base carrying the entirety of your league. I saw an estimate the other day. Caitlin Clark fans are responsible for 25% of the WNBA's revenue. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. Seems kinda high to me, but either way, when you're a substandard league who is reliant on one fan base, the last thing you need is that fan base to boycott your product. Even if 20% of the Caitlin Clark fan base boycotts the product, boycotts the league, that could have a massive financial impact on the WNBA. If you don't believe me, look at ticket prices. Look at the empty seats. 2 years ago, Caitlin Clark fans were packing arenas on the road and paying almost $200 for tickets. Last night, the average ticket was selling for $17, and they still couldn't sell out. You know, the WNBA...
I need to hear from every single one of you watching this video right now. I want you to go absolutely crazy in the comments section down below. Are you proudly taking part in this historic 95% WNBA fan boycott? Have you stopped buying tickets and merchandise as a protest against the alleged sabotage? And do you believe the panicked billionaire owners will be forced to step in and fire Stephanie White before the sun goes down today, simply to stop this massive financial bleeding? Let your voices be heard loud and clear down in the comments, because I promise you, the owners